All right, here we go. Turkey time. I've got my gigantic turkey, and this one's about 23 pounds, and here's what is going down. I'm going to roast this baby. First thing I did when I got it yesterday, rinse it under cool water, inside and out, remove the neck and the giblets, all that, clean out the cavity, and then I brined it. So brining is kind of like marinating, but you're doing it for a long duration, and it's basically a salt solution at its simplest, and it can be as complicated as you want. What you're doing is soaking the turkey to introduce flavors into the actual meat. The fluid inside the turkey itself flows out to the higher salt concentration as it tries to equalize, and then the diluted solution flows in, and then it's constantly going in and out, leaving the moisture and the water content in the turkey when you're done actually at the higher salt content and with the flavor. So it makes for a more flavorful meat. It also makes for juicier meat because the salt changes the protein structure of the meat cells and kind of knits them together, making pockets where it should trap the water when you're cooking. So the brine I used was 2 gallons of water. I had a 1.5 cups of kosher salt, a cup of brown sugar. I had some crystallized ginger in there, allspice berries, bay leaves, cinnamon stick, anything I thought would be aromatic that I had on hand. And I brought that to a boil, but I completely cooled it, put it in the fridge, and when it was chilled, I put this turkey in a giant thing they have now called a brining bag, which is just a gigantic Ziploc bag. You could use a heavy-duty garbage bag. You could use, if you have a giant kettle big enough to hold your turkey, use that, or a bucket. And I put that in there, and I put it in breast side down, and I actually left it in the brine for 18 hours, and halfway through, I flipped it over. And I just had that plastic bag sitting on this rimmed baking sheet in my fridge. And then when I was ready to go, poured off the brine, washed it, dried them back off, and now I'm ready to go. I'm not doing any stuffing in this turkey. I'm actually going to do just fill it with different aromatics. So I've got it all dried out, and I am going to, and I'm using a bowl for salt because I don't want to contaminate my salt, thoroughly rub salt and pepper into my cavity. I'm using the kosher salt I had left to season that up. I'm actually not going to rub salt on the outside. I'm sure you've seen that done a lot of times. I'm doing a little bit of a different preparation than typical. Got that done. Now, what I'm putting in this, putting in quartered yellow onion. I'm putting in, let me see, as much of this stuff as I can fit in. I'm putting in celery tops with the leaves. That has a lot of flavor. I'm putting in quartered oranges and lemon. I'm going to do just shove that stuff in there. Rosemary, sprigs of rosemary, sprigs of sage. I'm going to put those in there. I'm going to put in some parsley, and I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to fit in there. I've just got curly parsley. Shove that in there. Now, and I was using crystallized ginger yesterday in the brine, so why not put a little of that flavor back in? So, here we go. I don't want that ugly piece taken out. I'm going to cap it off. Okay. Done. See how easy that was, people? Easy. Now, I am not going to coat this in butter. What I'm going to do with my turkey, your turkey probably these days has a plastic thing or something metal holding those legs together. I just left that on this whole process. You don't need to take it out. If for some reason your turkey doesn't have this, you just need some kitchen string, and you don't need to know anything complicated. You're just going to tie this together. As for the wings, you will see that my wings are not all flappy out and about because they would burn. Very simple. It does take a little, depending on how big your bird is, so it's pretty big, takes a little bit of strength. But basically your wings are like this, and all I have done is taken the tips and bend it behind the neck, just back behind it, and they stick there. And they won't come out. You don't need any kitchen twine to do this. So, no big deal. What I'm going to do with this is just coat it with canola oil. I'm not seasoning it. I'm not putting butter on here because instead of, I'll talk to you while I'm doing this, instead of roasting it at a low temperature for a long period of time, I'm going to roast it at a high temperature. I'm actually going to be roasting it, I'm going to be roasting it at 475 in a convection oven. That's about 500 degrees in a regular oven for 30 minutes. Just coated in canola oil. And then I'm going to take it out. I'm going to turn the oven down to 350 degrees for a regular oven, about 325 if you're doing a convection oven. And I'm going to cover the breast up with tinfoil and return it until the breast meat is done. Now you'll see mine comes with this little automatic probe that's going to pop up when it reaches the right temperature. I'm not going to pay any attention to that, but I'm not taking it out either. If you take it out, you got a hole there and the juices from your turkey is going to flow out. You want to poke your turkey the least amount of time as possible. I'm going to take one of these probes. This attaches to a digital reader, and after I've done it for 30 minutes at the 500 or 475, take it out and I'm going to insert this right here, kind of equal to where they put their probe, in parallel to the turkey, in the deepest part of the breast, and I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to plug this into my digital reader, and I'm going to program it for 161. It's going to beep when it gets to that, and I'm going to take it out. Now you're thinking, I thought it needed to be 165. It does, but the meat will continue to cook even after you take it out. So you want to take it out then, instead of at 165, which will certainly pretty much guarantee that your breast meat gets to at least 170, and that's when you start to get a drier breast. So that's what I'm going to do. I already took some tinfoil, made a giant triangle that I put down on the turkey so that when it is flaming hot in half an hour, I don't have to touch it. I'm just going to have it molded to protect the breast but leave the dark meat uncovered. Leave it like that. When it's ready, I'm going to pop it on. So I think that I've got this all ready, and once it's completely coated, I'm going to pop it in there, and I will see ya when we're done, ready to take out. Now for the neck, I had a neck cavity. You will too. And what I did was I stuck in a quarter of an onion and a little bit of celery in there, and you might be able to see this. I just took one toothpick and just skewered that neck flap shut. Otherwise, that neck stuff can kind of be hanging out all loosey-goosey. And that's it, people. That is all you have to do. So it really isn't that complicated. Really heavy, and I'm going to need some assistance from Mr. F to come in here and help me put this baby in there. But that's where we're at. I'm going to do this half an hour, 500 in a regular oven. Take it out, cover it up, and then proceed until you get your right reading. Should be for about another between an hour and a half and 2.5 hours, depending on how big your turkey is. And the reason that's fantastic is, add that up, and we're cooking a whole turkey between 2 and 3 hours instead of between 4 and 5 hours. By searing it with the hot temperature, not only are you crisping the skin, you're searing in the juices, and you're allowing yourself to have a much juicier turkey than if you did a slow, steady roast. So, see you in a minute.